Hello, Angry Spork here with Young Justice Season 3, Episode 4, Private Security. We open the episode by showing that, yes, Artemis and Will Harper do live together, but they aren't together. They sleep in separate rooms. They don't have this kind of romantic tension or chemistry or anything going on like that. The Halo girl is sleeping there as well. She's not sleeping on the couch. She's sleeping above the couch because she levitates in her sleep for some reason. Meanwhile, Brion is living in Happy Harbor with Connor and Megan, and Jeff is keeping his eye on Helga Jace while she's staying in a Luthor hotel, which... Why? It's like, do you just want her to live really ritzy while she's in America? Because, it's a Luthor hotel. Why would you put her in a Luthor hotel? I mean, I can understand if she doesn't want to go into a Motel 6, but come on. Luthor! Will is at his security firm, which he runs. Grayson walks in, needing his help with a meta-trafficking ring in Star City. And he's got the original Roy, Arsenal, and Jim Harper, Guardian. He says, come on, help us. And Will's like, okay, I'll help you, but you gotta help me first. So, apparently, Will's normal staff got food poisoning from some celebration the previous night, and they cannot come into work. And there's this really fun back and forth amongst them, as they're all, in uniform. So we jump to some people playing a VR game in a park, and, this one heavy-set guy, in a Superman suit is stumbling around. He falls right in front of Artemis and Halo Girl, and he, excuses himself and then skitters away, continuing to play his game. Artemis flashes back to the previous episode's conclusion. There's a bit more elaboration on that, and Halo Girl's English is getting better, but she says she doesn't really remember anything from before waking up in a grave. They go somewhere more secluded in the park when Dr. Fate shows up and senses an old soul within the otherwise young woman. Zatanna arrives. We find out that, it's a yearly thing that they set up with Nabu to, Zatanna and her father get 1 hour a year to be together and completely Nabu-free. Will Harper and his crew are transporting the good goggles, the VR headsets everyone's wearing. I'm beginning to think that this is going to be like that Reach soft drink from Season 2. There's something nefarious about the good goggles that we're going to find out. And it'll either be one of the teases for the mid-season finale or elaborated upon when the show comes back. Will is pressing Grayson about what to do in regards to the mysterious young woman he has as a house guest. That particular scene of them kind of closes on another fun contradiction. Someone saying, come on, no one's going to steal these things in broad daylight. And then we close in on the metahuman criminal Brick, that's some of his goons, and Brick saying, we're going to steal those things in broad daylight. A little less subtle, but it's still kind of funny. Dr. Jace having lunch with Jefferson, and she's flashing back to trying to explain her motivations to Brion, and they're both expressing regret over some personal mistakes they've made, and Helga cares about Brion and Halo Girl. She cares about them like they're her own kids, but the events are just weighing on her. Brick's goons basically pass themselves off as truck drivers, but fortunately, Will Harper has a clipboard that tells him something's up. And so they give chase. There's this fun dialogue between the Harpers and Grayson and throughout the entire thing. And when they go after the trucks and Brick goes after the security guys. And meanwhile, Superboy is working on a bike, which I guess is his job, or a job he's taken, and trying to kind of mentor Brion and controlling his anger at the same time, kind of likening Brion, or trying to make that connection between fixing a bike and helping Brion. Halo Girl, meanwhile, recalls being buried, experimented on, chloroformed, and some kind of meta attack while she's with, I assume, some family or friends, but she's doing so in the reverse order. Chronologically, it would go meta attack, and then opening the door and getting chloroformed, and then being buried. She remembers it in reverse. But she tells Artemis she doesn't remember anything. So that is curious. Will and Brick get kind of familiar while they're sniping back at each other, and Will's SUV is getting just wrecked. It's fun, but it's just... It just... Do they know that they know each other? Daddy-daughter time is concluded. Zatanna doesn't want it to end, but her father says, look, if we don't keep our end of the bargain, Nabu's never going to let us do this again. So, he puts the helmet of fate back on, he leaves, and this is why Artemis is around, to comfort her friend in this very trying time. So, back at the road fight, Will is confronting, while he's fighting, these goons and climbing aboard semis, he's confronting Grayson about needing a Wally substitute. Someone who knows him well enough to watch his back and everything. And he says he's been dropping the ball over the whole Markovia kids issue. And I noticed that, bringing up Wally doesn't, make Grayson stop in his tracks. He doesn't fall to his knees. He's not heavily traumatized because he's remembering that his best friend is dead. I kind of like that. I kind of like that they acknowledge that Wally's gone, but they're not, still devastated about it 2 years later. At least, Grayson. Artemis, I could kind of understand if she was taken a bit more aback by it. But, it's shown that they care about Wally, but they have moved on. They are moving on, and they're accepting it. So that's actually kind of a nice touch. Some shows would not let you forget how painful losing him was, even 2 years later. He says this very interesting thing: the mission is what the mission becomes, and that is kind of profound. That's not something. It's in a way it's very simple, but very in depth at the same time. And Grayson says he doesn't do teams anymore, but, well, he does now. He's kind of thrown himself back into that aspect of superheroing. But in the end, they get the trucks back. Rick and his men are being arrested, and there's a cheesy pose moment in their uniforms, and there's this excellent comic timing moment that it's basically between Grayson and Will about clone ages, and one of the others chimes in. I can't do it justice like this, but it's hilarious. And so later, they've already accomplished Grayson's mission, saving some meta kids, as the police are rolling up to a nondescript warehouse. And there's this moment with all of them back in their, crime-fighting suits. And it does kind of make me wonder, what about Mal Duncan? He was Guardian in Season 2, and it seemed like it's something he stuck with. So it could be he's just decided to get out of it in the 2 years since, or maybe Jim Harper just had a spare Guardian costume lying around and decided to bring it out of mothballs. And the credits end on Sphere in the same driveway as the car from the previous episode, so I guess that's Megan and Connor's driveway. This was an exceptionally funny episode. I mean, it's the first one that doesn't deal strictly in the land of Markovia. I mean, it is just the 4th episode, but it is a lot funnier. There's some great dialogue and back and forth. Certain mysteries are, elaborated upon to some degree. Halo remembers something, but why she isn't saying anything could go either way. It could be that she's a more malicious individual than she appears, or she might have different reasons for keeping quiet. She was a factor in getting the king and queen killed, so maybe she's ashamed, doesn't want to admit it. Or it could be she doesn't know why she opened that door. What she does and does not remember is kind of in the air, but we do know she's hiding something. We also get some insight, like, on other members of the team / Justice League. Zatanna, trying to get some quality time with her father. But overall, it's the kind of episode that is definitely one to make you want to... It's kind of its own standalone thing, but it still expands upon other elements in the show. So it does kind of make you want to keep watching, see where it goes. Greg Weisman and the crew on this show are capable of such quality work that they know what to give you, they know how much to give you while still keeping you entertained in their own, in other respects. So they are accomplishing something very well that the DC Comics haven't been doing very well for several years. And if you watched enough of my show, you know where that is primarily focused. But for now, I'll see you for the next episode. See you later.